Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 24 for a step-by-step guide to learn Angular. So if you are directly coming to this video, I will recommend you to watch previous video first and then you can come to this video. These are the topics we are going to cover in this complete video series, and today we will work on reactive form on our to-do application. We will add our to-do list, and for that we will use reactive form. In the previous section in the registration form we used template driven form. So the main difference is if you have some big form with the complex logic, so recommended ways to use a reactive form. So here I am going to add one add button, and once you click on that we will navigate to our add to do form. So let's start. So this is our to do folder. Let's navigate to do, and now let's generate a component for save to do. Let's click on enter. Let's define route for our save component, and I will pass ID here. That's it. Let's change this to false to keep active for save component, and now come back to do component, and here I am going to add one button that's called add button, so it will be navigate uh, to our save component. So let's add a class button, then button success, and it should be at right side, and now I am giving name as add new, and the outer link should be our save component. So I should pass ID, so I'm passing ID as a 0. Now let's copy this and come back to our save component, and here I'm giving the name as a back and removing the 0 link here. Let's quickly verify our changes, and I'm giving my credentials, and now click on submit. So I came to do. Now click on add new, so I came to save component, and I can click on back button, so I came back to our to do component. Now our save component is available, so let's start for reactive form. So step one is we need a module. As we worked on the template driven form, so we imported one module. What is the name of that module? Yes, correct, forms module. So similar to that, we need one module for reactive form. That's reactive forms module. So we need to import that. So we are working on a to do. So I should open our to do feature module. So this is our to do feature module. So now where should I add our reactive forms module? Yes, correct. In the import array. So let me add it here. Reactive forms module, and it is a part of Angular forms. So now our reactive forms module is available in our to do module. So step 2 is to I am going to design our form. So let's start. So now let's just open our save to do component.html, and let's remove this. And here I'm going to add very basic HTML, and I will share this with you in the description block. So don't worry at this point of time. And let's copy this and paste it in our save component. And also let's wrap this button also inside our mm, yeah, here. Now let's save this, and one more thing which I want is there is some few basic CSS that will also I will share in the description. So let's open our CSS and add it here and save this. So let's quickly go through this. So this is one alert what we added in the our registration form. Same alert I copied from there, and this is just one header, and this is our back button. I wrapped it here, and this is form tag, and I added a task name and category. Inside the category I added this categories, and we are having a start date. This is a type of date. End date is a type of date, and auto close. So if user is going to check this, so when the date is passed, the task is going to be auto closed, and we are having one save button. So this is a type of submit. So this is a very basic form. Now to make it reactive, step one is we need to add one directive that's called form group. So in this form, I need to tell that which form group this is. So let's add form group, and let's give some meaningful name. So I am giving a to do form. Let's save this. Now I can see some error. So let's see what is the error. So error is if ngb alert is an Angular component. So my compiler is not able to find the tag ngb alert. So why it is? Because this is our Ngx Bootstrap component, and we don't have that module in our to do module. So I need to import that also. So yeah, here I am going to import what is a module. Yes, it's a ngb module. So let's add the import statement also, and let's save this. Yeah, so this is error is it's correct only because we define to do form in template, but in the component we don't have to do form yet. So for now, let's ignore this error. So let's come back to our form. So now we have form group, and that's the name of to do form. Now for each control, I need to add one directive that's called form control name. So for each direct control, I'm going to add this. So let's start. So first I'm giving for task name. So let's give task name here. Let's copy and paste it, and this is for category. And let's copy and paste for let's copy and paste for the start date, and same for end date as well. And also I'm going to give for is auto close. So let's copy and paste. That's all. So as of now, we have completed three steps for reactive form. We imported our reactive forms module. Then we added this directive that's called form group, and we defined the name as a form group to do form, and we added this directive form control name for each of our control. Now step 4 is I am going to define that in our component. So let's copy and open our save to do component.ts, and let's initialize it. So what is the type of this? That's a correct form group. So let's give type form group, and this is also part of Angular forms. And now in on init, I'm going to initialize this. So let's say this dot to do form equals to new form group, and we can see in the array I can pass the control with the key and control type. Okay, so this abstract control is a base class of all the controls. So let's give our object here, and let's see what are the control name we are having. So let's copy each control name. So this is task name. So let's copy and paste it here. And here I am giving form control. And let's repeat same for category as well. So let's copy control name, paste it here, and I'm giving new form control here as well. And same for start date and end date. So start date and paste it here, and let's copy end date and auto close. So let's copy this auto close as well. And in the form control, we can give the state also. So let's pass true here. And that's all. Let's save this. So now it's compiled successfully, but still I can see a error because we copied that alert from a registration form, but that variable is still not defined. So let's define our alert. So I will copy this from the registration form again and paste it here. And also copy, I will copy this close alert method also from registration form. So let's copy this and paste it. So now we can see it's compiled successfully, so we can verify our changes. So I can see the form with this back button and task name and categories drop down also I can see, and the start date, end date, and auto close is also checked by default because we had it true there, so it's working as expected. So one more thing which I'm going to do is I will add the value for our drop down category drop down. So let's quickly add the value. This is personal, this should be office, and this should be social, and this should be one time. And let's save this. Now I need to define validation rule. So in the previous video when we worked on template driven form, where we added validation, yes, in the control itself only, like required and max length and all, we added in the template itself. But as I told, in the reactive form we can define that instead of template, we can define that in component. So let's define our validation rule. So suppose you can see this form control, and when we are creating a instance, so in the constructor we can see it's accepting two parameters. One is a state, so we pass the true and we can pass empty string here, and second one is a validations. So let's give empty string here, and in the validation what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a validator class. So we are having this validator class. This is a part of Angular form, and inside a validator class we are having all the options like required and max, min, all the validations. So I am giving required validator here. Let's copy and paste for category as well, for start date as well, and end date as well. And let's save this. Now let's open our CSS, not this one. Yeah, so I added this invalid control class. So why I did, I'm going to use that now. So here what I want is, if my control is invalid when it is having error, I want to add that CSS class. So how can I conditionally add a CSS class? Yes, correct. I can use ng class directive here. So let's use ng class directive, and inside a directive, now I can paste my class here, and here I can add my condition. So my condition is my to do form And when we worked on the template driven form, so we were adding form dot controls and some long parameter. So here it's more easy. We are having one method that's called get, and inside a get we can pass our control name. So what is the control name? It's a task name. So let's give it here, and what I'm going to check is if it is touched. So I hope you know when someone touched the text box, so this property becomes true. Or what I want is if field is dirty. So let's add dirty here, and with that I want to add one end condition, and what I want to check is if form is not valid. So let's paste it here, and I'm going to add valid, and I'm saying not valid, so let's add not here and save this. So similar to this, I'm going to add this for other uh, places as well. So let's add it here also, and let's rename this to category. Let's set for start date as well, not in label. It should be in the text box. And what is the control name? Start date, yes. So let's paste it here. And let's copy and paste for end date as well. And let's replace start date with the end date. Now let's save this, and now let's see our changes in the browser. So now let me enter something for task name, and let's remove this and come out so I can see a red border. So our validation is working for task name. Let's select personal, and let's deselect this so I can see it's working for category as well. And let's touch this text box and come out so I can see my all validation is working as expected. But this is not user friendly. I'm only able to see the red border, but I'm not able to see what actual error it is. So I should see some error message. So let's work for that. So here I'm going to one spin tag, and let's here what condition I'm going to add if this field is not valid, and this field dot errors, let's make it nullable, and then let's check for required. Then I'm going to show a message, please enter task. Also let's remove this not from here, and I'm going to add one class for keeping a text color as a red. So that's all. Now let's copy and paste it for category as well. So let's scroll down and paste it here, and here I should say select category, and now let's scroll down, and here I should say enter start date, and let's scroll down, and here I should say end date, and also let's rename this task name with the end date, scroll up and rename this with the start date, scroll up and rename the category also with the, yeah, this task name also with the category. So let's copy and paste and save this. Also, one more condition we need to add to show message. So let's copy and paste this as well, and paste it here. Let's do same for the category also. So why we are doing this? Because if it is not dirty and touched, we will not show a message, right? So to avoid that, we are adding this condition. So let's copy this and paste it here. And let's save. So now let's see for messages. So let me push and now let's come out. So I can see please enter task name. Now let's select something and let's go back to select. So I can see please select category message, and let's come out. So I can see please enter the start date, and I can see for end date as well. So now our message is also working as expected. Now let's come back to our save component, and if I will see, so this code is looking very messy. So we can refactor this code, and there's a one way. We are having one service that's called FormBuilder service. So we can inject that service and then refactor this code. So where we can inject the service? Yes, correct, in the constructor. So let's add private. Why we are using private, I hope you know. If not, please watch a video from service section, and I am giving a type of form builder. So now instead of this, what I can do is I can directly give this as a fd dot this dot fp dot group, and here I can remove this all this form new control statement. So it's giving error because it accepts the value as a array. So we need to change this to array, Let's add a closing statement as well. So now it's working as accepted. Now let's again verify our changes. So let's add a cursor here and come out so I can see my validation is working for task and category as well, for start date and for end date as well as it was working before. But what I want, if I want to add one more validation for task name, I want is minimum 3 length. So if I will give only 2 characters, so I want to show one message and also I want to keep the border as a red. So how can I add that? Let's see. So adding a multiple validation is very simple. Just we need to change this to array type. So let's change this to array, and here I can add one more validation. So let's use our validator class, and here I can see min length. So in the min length method I can define the length. So let's say 3 character, and let's save this. And now let's add a message in our template. So we can copy that same span tag and paste it here, and I'm just going to change this required to min length, and change this message also to minimum 3 character allowed. So now this is our save form. Let's mouse enter and come out so I can see please enter task name. Now let's enter only 1 character and let's come out so I can see a message minimum 3 character allowed. So our both the validation is working fine. So now one more thing which I want is, this is our end date and I don't want to keep this mandatory for always. What I want is, if someone is checked this checkbox auto close, so when it is auto close, so we must have end date, and when user is not going to check this, so it's optional. So at runtime I want to add this validation. So that part we will see in the next video. But before that, let's see some interview questions related to this topic. So this is very important questions, and most of the times people get these questions like what is the difference between reactive form and template driven form. So I hope you, if you have watched template driven form and if you are watching this reactive form, so you would be able to answer this. And the another question is, what are the common directive we use for reactive form? So like we used form group, form control name. So similar to that, you can give an example. In the upcoming video, we will add some more directive and what is a form builder. So that service we injected and we refactored our code using a form builder. So you can explain that. And last one is difference between test and dirty. So all this test and dirty, valid, invalid, all that I explained in the template driven form video. So if you're not clear, you can go through that video. So that's all for this video. In the next video, we will work on the dynamic validation. Thank you for watching.